Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. My name is Jennifer Waters, and I am part of the CNY Fertility and CNY Healing Arts team here in upstate New York, Syracuse. I'm happy to be here today. I am setting up my Instagram thing on the side. Hopefully that works. So today I want to talk briefly about change. It's interesting. I hear a lot of stories from you all going through this struggle of fertility. And what I hear often is that you're doing, for example, an egg retrieval back to back. You're doing cycles back to back, which means there's not a lot of time in between. Rarely are people making changes in between. So we all know the definition of insanity, right? Is expecting something different without changing the cause, right? So if we don't change, we can't expect things to be different, the outcomes, okay? Most of you that started in another clinic other than CNY Fertility end up coming to work with us. Why? Because the clinic that you were working with prior weren't able or interested in adapting the protocols to you. And so I really feel CNY Fertility gets the best results because Dr. Kiltz is willing to change up your protocol. You can't keep doing the same things and get the same results. So if you went into an egg retrieval cycle and you didn't get eggs, you have to stop and ask yourself, why? Now, and then be willing to make some changes with an open mind, a mind of curiosity that's going to allow those changes to occur. It's going to facilitate a change on a cellular level. So you have to ask yourself, do you believe the body can change? Do you believe that your thoughts, your beliefs, and feelings are affecting your biology? I think it's the most important question. It's the question I used to ask in the clinic when I started my acupuncture practice 24 years ago now. I used to ask people right on the intake form, do you believe that you can heal or recover from this pattern that you have, this dis-ease, these symptoms? Do you believe it's possible? You have to ask yourself that question, because if you don't, then you're working within a limited capacity. There's limitations on what will occur. Okay. So if your answer is yes, absolutely, you believe that you can change. Now, we have to be realistic. Obviously, things change within our evolution of what I call intelligent aging. Obviously, things are going to change, and there is a difference between a 20-year-old and a 60-year-old. Okay. So I'm not saying that there are no differences. Of course, there are differences. But in some cases, and I always say that, some of the most challenged couples I see are in their 20s, and some of the least challenged couples I see are in their 40s. So what is the difference? There's a lot of difference. A lot of it comes down to lifestyle choices, nutrition, overuse of antibiotics, other pharmaceutical interventions. It is a both and world. Obviously, sometimes we need to do a little bit of both. So I want to talk about some of the things that you can change right away if you would like to have different outcomes. I want you to start thinking about change in a really kind of different way. I was inspired by one of Martha Beck's books. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She's written a lot of books, and she's a cult survivor, which I find fascinating, how the mind becomes open to recognizing the stuck situation that one's in, and then the courage it takes to undo that programming. I love stories of overcoming, tales of resiliency. We are amidst extremely resilient people on the planet. And they're my inspiration to continue on no matter what we're feeling and what we're doing. Remember, you can't fall out of the universe. You have the support of the universe right around you, right at your fingertips all the time. We just don't really believe it. We don't necessarily feel it. So I want you to be open to feeling that support from the universe, your protectors, your angels, your guardian energetics, whatever it is. Just please know that you are well supported on this journey. Um, so, anyways, Martha Beck in her book, I thought it was recent, but actually it was in 2011. She talks about living your wild life, and it's well worth listening to or reading. She's got some real gems in there. And the part I liked the best so far, and I'm not done yet, is about change. And, she talks about changing the way you drive to work every day. We get in these ruts, and the ruts are affecting our biology. We don't really believe it, but it's the truth. You drive to work the same day, the same way every day. Guess what? It's not opening up any new pathways in the brain. So we know the brain is the hard drive of our whole psychobiology. So let's see what we can do to change the brain. So it can be as simple as taking a new route to work, wearing different clothes, changing up your color scheme. I don't care. But let's start with some of the basics of feng shui. This is in the spirit of Chinese medicine, the art of placement. And a lot of people kind of minimize that and they think, oh, that's decoration, that's whatever. No, it's really not. It is the acupuncture of your house, of your neighborhood. Okay. So this is the energetics. Remember, we are biochemical and we are bioelectrical beings. So we're very good at focusing on the biochemical with nutrition, with targeted supplements, with medications, but we're not as good as on the bioelectrical aspect. People ask me all the time, well, how does acupuncture work? Well, it's simply working on the bioelectrical aspect of your being. So let's take a look at the bioelectrical aspect of your environment. If nothing else, if you just went through a retrieval cycle and you didn't get any eggs, what I want you to do is move your bed. Try it. Move your bed if you can, if you have that flexibility in your space. And I realize this is a big assumption on my end. If you're living in Manhattan, probably you're in a smaller apartment, you don't have a lot of wiggle room there. But nevertheless, try. Change things up in your environment. There's such great books at the library. I'm still a huge loyal fan of the public library system. I cannot believe what's available to us for free. I mean, I know our tax dollars support it, but it's amazing. I just read 4 or 5 books on feng shui, everything from interior design to changing your relationships, your prosperity, your career, your goals, your friends. Using the space to do that, and I can tell you it's working. It does work. Pay attention to the subtle changes, and these subtle changes are going to lead to the bigger changes. So change the things that are easy, like your bed. Paint your front door a different color. Pay attention, learn the bakwa, the layout of your environment, and start looking at the corners, so at least you can identify this is the corner of children, of family. This is the corner of prosperity, success. Here is the corner of your career. Okay, so that at least you can clear out the clutter, clean up that, get rid of the cobwebs, whatever it is. So I love that. The next change that's pretty easy to make, well, I shouldn't say that. It seems like it's the easiest, but it's actually the most challenging, and that's our thoughts and our beliefs. Now, remember, mostly how we are functioning is based on functioning in terms of our thought system and our psychobiology is how we were programmed from ages 0 to 7. So those of you that have toddlers, I know it's a very challenging stage. I think it's harder than the teenage years. I mean, honestly, I do, but you're kind of overwhelmed, so you don't think about it because there's no choice and it's one moment at a time, one meal to the next. But please, please, please remember that this first cycle in life in Chinese medicine, it's our life cycles are in 7 years. So 0 to 7, 7 to 14. Okay, you get the drift. These are absolutely the most important years of your child's life. So be very careful with how you're programming them, right? Parenting is simply how we're programming our children, right? That's it. You want to program them for happiness, for success, for contentment, for resiliency. We have to be resilient, folks, in order to be successful on this planet. Let's face the facts. It's not for the faint at heart. We don't need to fall apart from stress. We don't need to crumble because we don't get our way. We get rejected. There's a great another book. This is a tangent about becoming rejection proof. I love that. I love that idea. It's leaning into that which is uncomfortable. Usually we avert, we don't go towards that which is making us uncomfortable, but try to start thinking about leaning into the things that are uncomfortable and see the magic that can happen there. It is magic. So, looking at your own 0 to 7 programming, you may not be aware of some of the downloads that you received from your parents, from your caretakers, from who knows what, your teachers. A lot of people tell me what happened to them in kindergarten, first grade, and it has a big impact. It's the way the brain is wired during those times. What happens then has a bigger impact on us than at 45 something occurs. We can really consciously let it go and really move on. But when you're 5 years old, you can't. These are life-changing imprints that are absolutely going to affect the success or failure of your life. So see if you can go back and take a look. Were you programmed to believe that you need a doctor to tell you what's wrong with you, right? You have to externalize that information in order to get the approval that you need, right? If that was the case, work to undo that because you are the master of your own body. Now, it's easier for some than others. I get that. It's like telling the average person to figure out what's going on with their car. We can't. I know I can't. But we weren't born as cars. We're born as human beings. You have this body. Start tuning in and figuring out what you need for yourself. So if you were programmed to believe that you don't have enough information in order to trust yourself when it comes to medicine, diagnostics, whatever it is, work to neutralize that. Okay. We're trying to get to neutral and then we can go above. But try to undo that so that you can start saying, you know what? I really want to do this. I really feel like I want to do yoga instead of lifting weights. I really want to, have this nutritional support instead of that, whatever it is. Okay. So look at those beliefs and then really take some time to notice your mind. And you do have to reprogram yourself. I mean, I know I have. It could be, there's affirmations and then there's mantras. There's a subtle difference, but it can be profound. I don't need to get into that right now. I love the word mantra. It's a Sanskrit word that means to protect the mind. And affirmations can do that. They protect the mind from going south, but it's a little bit different. So figure out what you're going to interrupt your own mind stream with, right? So when you notice you're going down the doom and gloom, I'm never going to get what I want. My ovaries aren't responding. Oh, another tangent. I've been doing research on ovaries, of course. What else would I do at night? And I love this stuff. It is fascinating when you go back to the classics. You get all the information that you need. Although we've come a long way in medicine and science, we can still go back to the beginning, which in Chinese medicine is literally thousands of years now, and see what our ancestors spoke about in terms of the psychobiology of the organs. And what I read is that the ovaries are most connected to forgiveness. and that practice of forgiveness. And I used to think that the uterus is the center of power, control, creativity, power in a good way, not in a domination way, controlling your own psycho-emotional state. And the ovaries are connected to creativity. Now, remember, a lot of us think of creativity as, oh, you have to be a painter, you have to be doing something that a quote artist is going to do. And I don't want you to think that way. I want you to think about having creative thoughts, okay? Having creative visualizations, setting the table in a way that's creative, whatever. If you plate your food, plate it in a way that's creative. Okay, so start tapping into that creativity that's actually going to open your mind quite a bit. That's why I've noticed the most successful people are creative. Um, you have to channel that. Anyways, that's a tangent. So the ovaries in another system are connected to forgiveness, okay, resentment. So I want you to think about that. And a lot of it comes down to forgiving yourself, forgiving your body. On some level, you probably feel that it has failed you. And that's not a relationship that you want to nurture. You want to nurture a relationship that's based on acceptance, approval, forgiveness, resiliency, embracing, moving towards what it is that you want. And we don't always get what we want, and we don't know why. But I do believe on some level there is a divine order, and we have to reconcile with that one way or the other. Okay, so really quickly, the other things that you can change, right? Change your supplements. If you had an unsuccessful egg retrieval, don't keep taking the same stuff. Stop everything, take a fresh look. And there's a couple things you can email me. There's 2 magic supplements that I recommend. Okay, so I'm going to put my website here. And if you are in this phase of wanting to make a change, email me and I'm going to tell you the supplements that I'm going to recommend that I can guarantee you have not taken. Okay. And they are, remember, supplements, they're not instead of food. They are here to fortify the nutrition that you're already doing, whatever nutritional approach you're taking. Okay. So this is an easy thing to change. This is tangible. Stop what you're doing, drop the preconceived notions about it. What am I going to do if I don't take CoQ10 every day? Stop it. We don't even know that you need that. Okay, you might. Remember, you are the placebo. What you think and feel is absolutely affecting your outcomes. Okay. I will put that in there, Instagrammers, in just one second. Okay, the other thing that allows for a lot of change very quickly on a cellular level is light. Whether you're sitting out in the sun and getting that vitamin D in, or you're going to your local spa that has the LED panels and you're going to stand in front of that, or you're lucky enough to be near a place that has a light therapy bed. If I ever win the lottery, that's what I'm going to get, a Thor light bed. I think they're about $100,000. It's not much, right? So, or find a practitioner that uses LED light. This is photobiomodulation. This is light stimulating your biology. We are made up of what, 70 trillion cells? Light is the fastest way to affect every single cell, how it's functioning. The patches, also my favorite. Those of you that know me know I like to patch on. It's part of all the protocols now that I create for folks. Why? Because we're waking up your body to make a change endogenously. That is the most reliable change. Yes, what we take in terms of nutrition helps. Yes, what we take in terms of supplements help, but it's kind of the opposite, or not opposite. Let's think of it as yin and yang. It's the yang way of saying, okay, here, thyroid, I'm going to support you to do what you need to do with these supplements. Okay, so I'm going to help you to wake up with these targeted supplements. The patch is saying, no, I'm going to wake you up. I'm going to remove the things, the obstacles that are possibly there that are interfering with your function so that you can just wake up on your own. So that's it for today, folks. I am running off now to the clinic, and it's always a pleasure to tune into you. I'm going to say goodbye to Facebook so that I can put my address here on Instagram already. Bye bye. Have a wonderful day.